2 weeks. How do you manage that as the boss?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. Right now we have 8 senior players with championship experience, and then we have a big group of under 21 players, and today we also had some under 18 players integrated in the training. So we could train the same for all the first team players and under 21 players. So we are best possible prepared that we need to rotate, and we need to also that we also want to use a lot of the young guys to come through all 5 games.
Can you rotate your senior players? Because on the one hand, you want them to play, especially if you've got younger players in the team. But do you have to rest them at certain points during Christmas?
Yeah, it's necessary because there's take a training like today where we call it 8 senior players with championship experience. We have to manage every single exercises. We have to manage every single training. We have to the load for the whole training, but the load for every single player. How much can X player play against Ipswich, and then against Hull? Then we have 4 games in 9 days. Here we need to make a plan because of course the senior players cannot play all the minutes. Then we will deal with injury. And the risk for injury is too big, and they cannot perform to play 90 minutes in every game. And we will integrate the young players as we have done, and the normal player of the young players, Bailey, Charlie, now is George back, Gap. They will be a part of the start 11 and be integrated, and then the next young players who stay on the list will also start to get more and more game practice. But still, I want to integrate them in the best possible way, so they get as much support as possible, but they also, from a healthy perspective, get the best possible development.
Are any players a doubt for this game against Ipswich?
Nate is out, so I think he will not be a part of the game.
Is that a new injury, or is it just?
Yeah, let's see he went in from the training today, so let's see what the scans say.
Is there any scope of signing anyone to help, given you're stretched and you've lost players to AFCON?
No, not at all.
There's been a lot of talk about style of play after the Derby game. How would you describe your style of play?
No, I think we have. I love to have a very aggressive pressing team. And again, when we play so many games with the amount of players we have, we cannot press high every time. We want to be an aggressive, compact team, and on the ball, we want to develop a team who can be strong and be effective on the ball. And I like a big part of verticality when we're on the ball. I'm not the coach who likes to have the ball just to have the ball. I want to be dominant. I want that we are able to play out against the team who's pressing high, but also a team who's standing deep, but is with a big mind for verticality. So it's a running possession game, vertical possession, and what we saw against Derby, it was to keep the ball more than it was something to create the ball. And this is not what I want to stand for. As also the same for the players. We want more. We want to create something. We want to be effective. And in the same part, when we want to be effective and create something, then you need to speed up the game and not always keep the same speed, because then you don't move them quick enough. But you also need the verticality. And before you can have the verticality, you need also the dynamic run, the opposite run, who breaking the final line. And then in the other end, we need a good rest defending, so when we lose the ball, we stay good for our repress and our counter pressing. And we have had a period where we were really strong in this phase, but against Derby we really struggled with this moment.
Have there been games, I think of the Derby game, I think of the Sheffield United game, where the aggression levels that you are hoping for have not been at the standards? And if so, why do you think that is? Is it simply down to the the limitations within the squad, the tiredness maybe, or are there other reasons why something like that happens?
I think we have a clear way how we want to defend, how we want to press, and we want to be a compact team, as I said before, and on the ball Pierce is now, he came back, and he's a different goalkeeper than Ethan. With Ethan, we kick more long balls, just push up from the back, second ball when he has the ball. Now with Pierce, because Pierce have this quality he has, we also start to play. And now we have to find the balance to not go direct all the time, but we can also not only go short. And this is the balance now to integrate Pierce with all his strength, to find the balance so we are effective when we integrate him, but also that we have a good rest defending when we integrate him. So we will work further on this, but of course now when you play in Ipswich away, and there is one of the best pressing team, then it can be a tough one to play too much short balls.
Statistically, you're in the top 6 for touches in your own third, which is joint 4th in the division. Do you think you're playing around too much at the back sometimes?
Yeah, I think so. I think we want to play. We want to break the first pressing line so we can have a step in, and from here we can speed up. We can have the verticality instead of we just play out and play the long ball. It will be we don't have the team just to play long balls and then only second ball. But I think this is a place where we have to improve. We don't need to play 4, 5, 6 times, but this is what we are working on, to be more effective in this part. So we not only keep the ball and end up closer. No, we are breaking lines and we start to speed up the game and get more verticality in.
5 goals from set pieces, which is the third fewest. That feels like an area a team in your position needs to exploit, scoring goals from set pieces. Yeah. What have you made of your set pieces so far, and how do you improve that?
We have Andy, the set pieces coach, he left, and then Pete, he helped now Ben King for the set pieces. And we had the players involved also in this part of the game, because we struggled earlier, and then we had some really good meeting, and then there was a big step up, especially for the defensive set pieces. In the whole season we have struggled generally to create something from our own set pieces to be dangerous here, but I promise we train that a lot, and because in our situation, if we can have plus on this account set pieces, it will help us a lot, of course.
It's possible there could be some clarity soon on who the preferred bidder is for the club. From a manager's perspective, are you eager to have that clarity?
One more time.
As the manager, are you keen to sort of have some information and to know what's going to happen next?
I spoke yesterday evening with Chris, and we're speaking very often, so we have a good dialogue. So yeah, I hope there will soon come a good solution for our club, for our fans, for everyone. It will help for many things, of course it will.
Yeah, and from your conversations with Chris and sort of your understanding of the situation, let's say that the third bidder is announced soon. Could that help you in January? Because you need players, don't you? Everyone can see that.
Yes, we need players. I think he's working really hard to get it done as quick as possible, so we have a chance to do something in January. But we also know it takes time to make everything done. And right now we don't know who the new owner will be, and we don't know the reaction from EFL. So there's a lot of questions that is open before we can say what we can do in the January transfer window.
That's your time, Henrik. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
You alright, Henrik? How you doing?
Hi, Joe. I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. So you mentioned Nate there picking up an injury. I know you said you're waiting on scans, but Is that something that could potentially be serious for him, or is it more like a knock?
Let's see tomorrow. It's too early to say something.
Fair enough. And is there anyone else that's a concern for this weekend's game?
A lot of players is on the limit, but no, we are ready to go and we're looking forward for the game.
Excellent. I know you won't want to use it as an excuse, but sort of going on what you've said there and the way that things are with the squad, do you think that people outside realise just how difficult it is sort of trying to manage this team? I mean, you must be spending hours talking to the medical team, for instance, about, you know, guys being at their limit. Like, there's a breaking point for players, isn't there?
Of course, it's tough, and we have to plan every single training, every single exercises to manage each single player, because we are on the limit with many things. Because it's tough when we have the same player who has played so many games, and to play so many games. Then every week for training, when we can train, we have to plan very, very well. And every day, the head of performance and Rob and the doc is in my office. So we go through every single player because we need to do it. Because of course, there's big risk to let players play so much as we're doing right now. So of course, there's a big risk and there's a big planning. And at the same time, it's also the integration of the next players. Now we have the 8 senior players. We have a group of Charlie, Bailey, George, Gap, some young players who had played more than 5 games. Then we have a big group of under 21. Today there was under 18 players also in the training. Yeah, so we have to integrate them and make them ready for the next level. But of course, it's a big thing if we only think on the physical perspective to manage the group. But that's why we have good people around, and we try to do it in the best way we can. And then, of course, there's the mental load beside this, and the mental load and the physical load very often also go hand in hand. But the boys do it really, really well, and we try to have as much connection with the boys so we can feel where they are every day, so we can make the best possible training with the right load, so we can prepare us for the next game in the best possible way.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans have been sort of calling for more young players to play in order to lighten the load on the senior players. It's not that simple, is it? Of just going, right, get yourself in there. Because I suppose with the younger players, there's a lot to try and manage, isn't there? Like in terms of what could happen to them if they're put in too early and asked too much up too soon.
I think there's more level of this discussion. We want to compete in the best possible way. And then we have integrated a lot of players. I think we have 8 players now from under 21 we have involved by the first team, and now the next group of players. And example today in the training, when we prepare for Ipswich, then we have 11, 2 times 11. So all the young players get the same experience as the senior players. Because then it's going to be easier for them to get 10, 15 minutes, a half, 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And now with 5 games in 15 days, then we will integrate them more and more and more. Of course we will.
Yeah. Just in terms of the fans, it's tough for everybody, isn't it, at this point in time? Yourselves included, and the fans that are coming to see their team play, and everything is very, very difficult. What would you say to the fans that, you know, that are it's obviously a long winless run for Wednesday now? Like, they're still an important thing for you guys, aren't they?
The fans? Or who is
they're
them?
still like an important part. They're still an important part, even though like results are going.
They are everything.
The results aren't good.
They are everything, and this is what we have spoken about in the group today. There's nothing what we want more than give our fans 5 really, really good games. But the fans, we all have to understand how difficult it is also for the boys right now with all the games and 8 senior players. Yeah. So it's not just a walk in the park to play a championship game against top team from the championship. It's tough. So it's from the mental side, from the physical side, it's a big challenge. But what I can promise all the fans are that everyone inside the club are doing everything to support the boys, to help the boys, and how they work internal also the boys to be fit for the next game, to be ready for the next game, how they push each other, how they support each other. Then we do a big job internal. And I'm really proud for how the boys are working, how the staff, how the coaches, and I'm really proud how we all stay together. And this togetherness with the fans, I mean, this is what can help us through now in the next period, that we are all together and give them a little bit of credit for all what they do, the boys. They deserve it because they are working so hard. They're working so hard every day. So I hope we can have some really good performance and we can get a win again, we can get point again, because of course we want to come on the plus side again as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Away from the first team a little bit, saw this, I think it was yesterday, Joel Ekpobi, who's been on trial with the under 21s and the 18s, that he's signed. Can you give us an idea of the situation there? Is it because he's under 18? Like, is he allowed to sign as a scholar?
Yeah, that's the reason.
Okay, so in terms of him signing, he signs as a scholar. Does that mean that, like, is there any word on other new signings? I know you said there's none for the first team, but are you still unable to sign, say, for instance, like Josh Bayless, who's been on trial with you guys for a while?
Right now, we can't sign any players to the first team, as it is right now. So we can't sign anyone. But of course, the young man, we can integrate him now, and then he will also be a part. And we will look at him also next week in the training to integrate him to see where he is right now compared to the rest of the under 21 and the first team squad.
Yeah, are there any other sort of youngsters that are in a similar boat where they might be sort of signing scholar contracts and be looked at in the first team?
Yeah, we are looking at a lot, but in the moment the next group we are looking for is Jarvis, is Rio, is Joe, Emra. It's integrate George again. It's Isa, is Will. This is the next player we want to integrate in the first team, and when we can have start to integrate them, then we look in the next row again. But we have a lot to do right now to integrate them so they can be ready to get game practice through the Christmas period.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Yisa in your press conference after the Derby game. With Yisa and Will, has there been any progress there in terms of getting their contract sorted?
No, I have not heard anything news about this.
No problem. And just lastly, you've obviously got Sean and Jan who have gone out to the AFCON. I know that's not great for you or for Wednesday right now, but it's a really big opportunity for them, isn't it? Like, what have you said to both of them before they went to represent the national team?
I told them both that I think they have to be very proud and they have to look forward, and I wish them all the best. And then don't hope they win too many games, because then it will take too long time before they are coming back again. So I wish them all the best, but not win too many games.
And don't get injured. That's brilliant. Thanks so much for your time, Henrik. All the best.
Thank you.
Hi Henrik, just a quick one from me. You spoke earlier about quite a few players sort of being at their limit and being quite drained, and understandably so. How much more important is the sort of motivation part of your job when players are reaching those limits? Is it a case of having to really use those man management skills to galvanise?
Of course it's a big part, but it's also a big part to come through different phases, difficult phases in life. You need to know yourself as a person. So you need to know yourself, who you want to be, who you don't want to be. You also need to know yourself. What is your pattern when you are tired? What is your pattern when you are when you are on the limit some days, and how can you react in this? And here again, who do you want to be? Who do you don't want to be? And so it has been a develop over many months that we are trying to develop the human behind the football player. And so there is some work that going behind, and then of course there is a motivation part, but the boys are really, really motivated general, and then are speaking individual with the players, but of course we also have some motivational speaks in the group, but they are also good to motivate themselves and to motivate each other. But of course it's a part. We all sometimes need a push when we are tired and we have to perform again. But the boys do it really well in this direction.
Fantastic, that's it from me. Thanks, Henrik, appreciate that.
Thank you.